Let's talk about your dynamic and how you guys work as a team. It's a kind of a unique situation.
One person is coming to our healing place to come for health clinic. We usually working on a person together, myself and Dr. Yuliya. And I am a natural born healer. I have ability from beginning of my life to feel what's going on with the body. I feel the energetic, or I like to say bioenergetic vibration that's coming from the body into my hands. I feel it physically. I have natural gift. We originally, both of us, from Russia, and so is my teacher from Russia, from southwestern Siberia, and she's from a long line of village healers in Siberia. And basically that kind of a gift, people with that kind of gift, that's who traditionally been healers in old settings, in a kind of a village environment throughout the whole culture of the world. I've been lucky that early in my days I recognized my gift, and I've been looking to the ways to improve it and to develop it more ever since I was 16 years old. And my teacher helped me with that a lot, and I learned lots of ways, old traditional ways that the village healers would utilize, and the way they would explain what they feel and how they work with what they feel with the energetic field of the body. So when the person is coming to our session, especially the first time, I do my best to scan the person to see where the most important congestions are on the energetic level, which pronounces itself later on the physical level, sorry. I do the scan with my hands without even touching the person. And I can explain where are the priorities, where the symptoms can pronounce themselves different places. For example, the knee would hurt, or the stomach would hurt, or the shoulder would hurt, or there would be some kind of a problem with the thyroid, or autoimmune disease. So, but when I scan the body, I will feel exactly where the blockage is that actually causing that kind of symptoms, that kind of a physical problem to appear in the body. And this is the priority to work with, because when you able to balance, when we're able to clear the blockage, the body have much easier time to bring itself back to balance and heal itself on the physical level. So, and then Dr. Yuliya, using the oriental medical techniques, first of all it's acupuncture, but there are others, like moxibustion and cupping and other type of techniques. She will talk about it more.
So were you saying that that disease from what you see and feel, it all starts in the energetic field, the subtle bodies first?
Disease, any kind of disease, any kind of form of physical manifestation of the illness starts on the energetic level first. The energetic blockage is always primal to the physical problem. So first the energy blockage develops, then it causes a weakness to appear in associated area of the physical body, or in the system, or in a specific organ that is associated with that blockage. And then weakness grows into physical malfunction, and then into physical problem. If the blockage remains, if nothing happens, nothing changes in the person's life. And then the acute problem develops into chronic problem. In my understanding, in my vision, the chronic problem is the kind of problem that the body and the person become accepting as a normal stage of being. So when it happens, then the problem stays. the blockage stays because the body and the person not making any effort anymore to change it. So once the effort is made, the chronic problem start transitioning back into temporarily acute problem. It takes time, and for some people it takes shorter time, but for some people it takes longer time. But the process starts going backwards from the chronic into acute and into the healing.
That actually makes a lot of sense because I just with you
It's
working.
a beautiful way to explain that.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense just with you working on me because, it's like when you guys are asking me what pain do I feel, I don't actually feel much, if any, pain, but I'm totally in this state with a lot of what I'm dealing with where I've gotten used to what I have. So it's like I'm not even aware of my ailments, like a lot of them, until they're worked on. And
Exactly. Or something else happens in your
it's
life.
like I need assistance to have it brought to my awareness.
And that's what we do also, like with Chinese medicine and energy medicine, is we trying to make person aware of their stress in their lives, emotions that they feel in their lives, and the pains that they have. Oftentimes people really not aware of how much stress they just go every day until they basically get very sick. And when they become very sick when they come to see us, but then they don't really realize how much stress have affected their whole lives, how much they have stress on daily. They're just not aware of what's going on. They're kind of blocking it, and we try to put it deeper inside. And when I ask people, are you stressed? Sometimes they know, but sometimes they don't know. They say, oh, it's normal, like I don't really have a lot of stress. And then they tell me, like last year, my father died, or I had a major death in my family.
When they say it's normal, that's a sign, kind of an alert, the red flag, like okay, they accepting it already as a normal stage of being.
Right, and so would you say too, like that, as far as, I'm sure it goes both ways, but the energy work that Misha's doing probably enhances the effects of the meridian points that you're hitting with the acupuncture, and vice versa,
Exactly,
right?
it's vice
Where,
versa, yes.
And vice versa, where your points that you're hitting are accentuating and making it easier for Misha's work so he doesn't have to work or exert as much.
That's exactly
to
right. Like my
do what he
needles.
needs to do.
When I do my needles, then it's like Misha says, it's like keys that open the meridians and open the flow of energy in the whole body. So when I do that, then he can concentrate more on a certain area of the body and makes his work easier. Like when he feels that it's lower stomach or it's shoulder or whatever area of the head that needs more help, then it's easier for him to do his work because it's acupuncture really helps. It opens the flow of energy in the whole body, and he can concentrate on specific areas.
I'm able to do more efficient work because I don't have to put an extra effort on opening up the channels. They're already pre-opened by the needles. As Dr. Yuliya said, needle works like a key. First of all, on energetic level, and it's a main function of the needle. Work like a key that goes into meridian and opens it up, and it's allowed the blockage to drain. But in classic acupuncture setting, the doctor putting the needle into the meridian, into the point, it opens up the flow, and it just left to drain slowly. But what we're doing, we are actively working on that, and it's not just slowly draining; it's actively coming out.
Yeah, you're putting,
The excessive tension, the excessive pain that is in the body, the excessive
you're putting some pressure in the pipe, so to speak.
right. But I also using a pump.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
So, and I'm able to do it with my hands, through my hands.
And how do you? Is there a way to explain how you perceive the what you're picking up on in the body, in the energy channels, the blockages, so to speak?
The blockage could be accessed by the energy field of another person. I'm using the channels of my own body. Basically the channels that are located in my hands to access and to drain the blockage.
Would you
the needle, it's like a tool. I mean, you can there could be like the master that is able to work with bioenergetics, and Yuliya can do it, in fact, because she's also working with bioenergetics. She has the same gift, and she's been studying with me for the last 15 years. So she is able to transmute bioenergetic vibration through the needle. So in her case, it's not just a needle insertion. The needle becomes as a tool in the master's hand, and the master using that tool to just go deeper energetically, not just put it in and walk away, but put it in and also do the process, start the process, do the work through the needle. Okay, so
and it takes obviously it probably takes extreme sensitivity and discernment to direct energy, because you could probably, do too much if you wouldn't. If I'm guessing, like, anyone has this ability technically, but you need to know how much to guide, right?
Yes, exactly right. Misha been working with people over 23 years now, and he learned how much work he needs to do with a person. He can definitely do that, like not too much work, or we don't want to cause a healing crisis. If you do too much work at one time, he doesn't want to do it too intensely. So a person has a healing process that's very effective, but it's not too much for the body
and
to handle
crisis,
at the same time.
Healing crisis and relationship with the pain, in fact, and or actually processing of the pain, it's very cultural. And it's different from culture to culture. In Asian culture, they looking for the pain, because for them a pain it's sign of change. In Oriental philosophy, it's not necessarily a sign of a problem. It's a sign of change. The change could be negative or positive. And if there is somebody helping you, a doctor working with you, then the pain comes as a sign of fast and good positive change. So, however, and that's the way they take in a healing crisis. It's have to get worse in terms of the symptoms. The symptoms supposed to intensify before it get better. That's Oriental philosophy, and that's the way the Oriental doctors are working with people. They looking to provoke the healing crisis. So in our work, because we work in America, and most of the people that we're working with, they are from European culture. For Europeans, from Western culture, pain is unavoidably a sign of problem. It's never a sign of a progress. They're not taking it that way. It's a sign of a problem. Less pain, less problem. More pain, more problem. That's what it means. And so for that reason, we always trying to avoid any kind of excessive processing of pain, any kind of healing crisis. So I'm achieving that by working actively through my hands with assisting the body to release the pain. I'm not doing massage, I'm not doing the physical work. Sometimes I'm not even touching the body and working on the distance very often. But I'm able, by using my energy field, by the channels, energetic channels of my own body, and by the power of my body, I'm able to assist the body of the patient, of our client, to release that blockage that they need to release, that associated with one or another physical problem, to release it gently, without excessive crisis, without excessive pain. Most of the people feeling just tired and relaxed, sometimes spaced out after a session. And so the general suggestion here is just go home and take a rest. And rest. So take a break from everything, take a good rest, sleep longer. Because after a session, what's happening, I like to call it a healing mode, when the body actually starts actively working on itself. It starts regenerating, it starts balancing itself. The body have absolutely incredible ability of self-healing, self-regeneration, self-balancing. That's what endocrine system is for, to keep the body in a perfect balance. The body can achieve regeneration on a cellular level. The body can restore itself. And after our session, the body starts doing it actively. Actively, because we are able to help it directly on the energetic level.
Just like getting sick is a process, healing also is a process, and with that, person can be more aware of their body. Things start moving in their body, but also emotions get released. Whatever person stores inside. We have sometimes people crying on the table, and that's very normal. It's emotional release that happens during the session, and actually it's very good. And people become more aware of their feelings. Maybe there's some anger or guilt or irritability, or it can be anything, depression or sadness that we just don't want to feel. They block those feelings. And after the session, they can become more emotional, just being, I call it like emotional detox. They're just detoxing for negative emotions that they had maybe their whole life, that they're never been able to acknowledge or deal with. And it starts from day one, from being a little baby.
And so would you say, like, a lot of times, particularly, let's just talk about this culture, the American culture, that a lot of illness stems from the suppression of dealing with emotional traumas.
Very good point. Thank you.
Of suppression of emotional trauma.
Yeah.
Not even the trauma itself. Trauma heals. But when you suppress it, when instead of healing a trauma, is trying to hide it or cover it up, that's when the problems start developing.
And it can be held in the energy field, and then eventually it works its way physically held in the in the cells. Would that be correct?
Absolutely. It's even can get it even can be inherited by the future generations.
Oh, wow.
So not only because the genetic code could get affected, but there is also a such thing as emotional genetics. If mother or father have well-pronounced problem on the physical, emotional, any kind of level, and the children are exposed to that problem or to that stage of being a mother or father, or the other relatives, whoever they're close to, they can start associating themselves with that same problem on emotional level, and so this really increases the chances of the person developing that problem later in life. That goes because of that kind of emotional association with the problem. It's called emotional genetics.
Beautiful.
So I'm working with the knee today. So I'm doing some local needling. And even though it's mostly, she feels her left, right knee, I'm going to be using the left knee to help the right knee to heal.
Do you feel some sensitive at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, the easiest, if you're working on the surface of bioenergetic field, the easiest distance where you can feel and access bioenergetic field of the body is about 6 to 8 inches. So what I'm doing, I'm feeling the energy flow and the energy blockage and congestions. Wherever I'm feeling it, I'm utilizing the energy field of my body and on the way the power of my body to balance it, and in some cases to move and remove the energetic congestion. Pain, in fact, any kind of pain, I would say 80% energy and 20% neurotransmission. So when you've taken away the energetic part of pain, which I can do through my hands, the body balances the other 20%. So basically the nerves stops translating the signal of the pain to the brain. Unless, of course, there is some kind of a serious damage or a serious problem going on a physical level, so the pain just can't stop. So for that, in this case, there is a longer process, a deeper process of healing need to take place. So the body have to regenerate itself on a deeper level, physical level, and then the pain will go away. So what I'm doing right now, I'm helping the somewhat congested energy in the body to move at its most natural way through the channels that's going from energy meridians that going from up down. I'm not concentrating on one specific channel, one specific meridian. When I'm working on a distance, I'm able to kind of connect with variety of the channels. I can compare it to a musician who is playing the piano at the very high speed, and I'm not always even controlling the movement of my hands. I control the general direction, but the hands are able to work with the specific energetic channels and achieve that energetic movement autonomically on their own, just like hands of the pianist able to hit the keys on the piano without musician actually thinking which key to press. The same thing as here. And I'm helping the channels to open up and the congested energy to move down, in this case through the right leg, all the way from the area of the lower stomach, all the way down through the hip, through the knee, through the foot, and out through the end of the toes. So, and it achieves the natural, normal, energetic movement. I am kind of helping the body to start it. The body will continue it on its own for some period of time after a session. In some places, I feel more tension developing around the knee joint. I spend more time there. I feel some tension developing around the part of the big toe. I'm spending more time there.
to me, what you're talking about is really, really important for all-around education. And I think it's really important for people to be drawn to, because I think they're on the edge of it. Like
Yes,
they're
almost
going
there.
through things. They're going through things, and
They need some answers, and they need...
they're going through things, and it's their subconscious. Like they know something's off, and they know that they're stuck.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people also get afraid to ask for help. But I think
Yes.
it can go in the other direction, and then people can become dependent on their practitioners.
Exactly.
So,
So
is that something that you guys are also careful?
depending on the practitioner, it's same as being attached to the problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good point.
So you don't want to get rid of the problem. You just develop an attachment to the process.
they identify themselves with their ailment,
Exactly.
their
Right.
persona.
They cannot accept themselves being free from the illness,
Mhm.
so they become totally dependent on the provider,
like especially
on the health
cancer.
provider.
And have you come across that? Have you come across like people thinking that they're quote? And I've heard this, especially with a lot of younger people now. They say, "I'm broken."
Yes, I've heard that before. Yes.
What do you have to say about like people that are in that space?
What I have to say, anything possible to heal.
Mm.
Doesn't matter how broken you are.
And like you said, it could happen very quickly, and it could also take a little while because it might require more gentleness.
So it depends on your perspective of yourself.
Mm.
So how you accepting yourself. Once again, there is a definition of acute problem and a chronic problem. From emotional point of view, acute problem is the kind of problem that you're not accepting as a normal stage, that you expecting to heal eventually, to go away. And the chronic problem, something that you accepting as something that is normal, something that you just have to live with. That's chronic.
Mm.
So, and it's but because any person ultimately a master of his or her reality, if you're making that kind of a choice of accepting something as a temporarily or permanent stage, that's the way it's going to be, because the reality responds to your choice.
Mm. So the biggest key to healing, you could say, would be people first and foremost taking responsibility for their healing, for their state, and knowing that they can choose.
Make responsibility to make their own choices, for making their own choices. Not even responsibility. People have to come to realization that they not only can, they have to.
Mm.
In
So
order,
so you're saying it's inevitable that we heal too.
right? They have to make their choices.
Mm.
Because that's the only way to find their own true self, their own true strength, and true abilities, true gifts, and eventually get the real life.
Mm.
And disease and illness, it's never a punishment. I don't see it like, unfortunately, some people can see it as a punishment for something bad they did in their life. But it's never a punishment. I see it's just learning. Whenever you're stuck, like the pain, it just tells you, kind of waking you up, because how otherwise a body can tell you you need to change something in your life? Body is kind of screaming. Pain is a language of a body. It tells you time to change, time to take better care of yourself. You need to, have less stress. You need to rest more, maybe work less. Maybe you need to have a different job. Maybe you need to change environment where you're living. It can be so many different things. You need to eat better or maybe exercise, but it's never like a punishment. It's just actually it's help. All disease and all pain is help for a person to change and make better improvements for this kind of stress.
Sometimes people are punishing themselves, though, but it's also a choice, a negative choice. Very often people are making it unconsciously. In this case, it takes to realize that you making the wrong choice.
And overall it depends on how much person really ready to change and get better, like how much we don't want to be stuck in their reality. And it doesn't matter on disease is just a label, disease, either it's like knee pain or it's cancer. If person ready to heal, it can happen like instantaneously basically. But if person is not really ready to change anything in their reality, then it can take longer or maybe never.
And it can be dependent on aspects too, because certain things might be really easy for them to change, and it might be really easy, let's say, for them to, move out of their house into a new house, but it might be really hard for them to leave a relationship or
change a job, that current job that they hated for 20 years.
Or they believe that they're benefiting from that situation, and they don't want to give up on the benefit. It's good for them to move out of that house or of that relationship. So it's like exchanging your life, exchanging your emotions, your health, once again, for a feeling of protection, which is truly is an illusion, because you're not protecting yourself, you ruin yourself. Or doing the job that pays well, but you hate it. You have a hard time with people, you have a hard time with the boss, and the actual job is terrible. I mean, what you have to do there, you're losing yourself on that job, but yet you're selling the part of your life, big part of your life, in exchange for the money.
Yeah, so what you guys do is genuinely holistic, right? Because you're covering all aspects of what may cause the blockages, the ailments, whatever is holding certain aspects of any one person back, whether it be energy, if you can access it through diet, and can you pick up on that as well?
Yeah, with Chinese medicine, I can not only do acupuncture, but I can give herbs people, Oriental Chinese medicine. Herbal medicine is one of the most sophisticated herbal medicine in the world. And of course, I also do nutritional advice and tell people how to deal with their stress and do better exercises and how to rest more. So it's kind of overall, it's really life coaching or life consulting. It's wellness, it's being a wellness consultant and so much more. It's kind of the whole life of a person. It's nothing is separate, just like in the body, everything is connected. So is in a person's life, every single aspect of person's life is connected. So I'm kind of giving advice about different areas.
Thank you everyone so much for watching and listening. If you'd like to learn more about Dr. Yuliya and Misha or seek them out for their services, I have posted their website below. They are located in Montrose, Colorado, and regularly make visits to the Denver area.